Welcome, everyone. Kendrick Brown with Rise Workshops, along with Howie McCormick and Kane Sampson. We are here to interview Lyman Winn out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Before we get to that, let me go ahead and take care of some housekeeping here. For those of you that have been watching the page and paying attention to all the posts that we've been putting out, we are getting ready for Rise 3, which will be held in Columbus, Ohio, December 2, 3, and 4 in Columbus, Ohio. So we're looking forward to seeing many of you there. Tomorrow, August 25th at midnight Eastern is the final time to sign up at the early bird rate, which is $6.49. So you have until midnight Eastern tomorrow to sign up at $6.49. For those of you who are waiting for your football and cheer money to come in, we have another option for you as well. You can put down a $200 deposit, and that'll lock in your $6.49 rate, but you aren't going to have to do that before midnight Eastern tomorrow. All that information is available on RISEworkshops.com, and then I will go ahead and scroll a banner across so that you can see that information as well. So here's that information there for you to sign up for Rise 3 in Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be epic. I'll show a little promo from Rise 2 and Rise 1 here in a second. So thank you all for joining. If you're watching the replay, feel free to type in your comments. We'll be cognizant to monitor the post live reviews and comments and answer those as we can. Lyman is also going to be monitoring those to answer any questions that you have directly towards him after the live interview. But thank you to all of you that are in here. Let me go ahead and put this up so that I want to see everybody's name when you type your comments in. So give me a second here. Let me get this up. Here's where you go. It's right where you clicked on the link to start. Let me get over here, take myself. And without any further ado, we'll go ahead and move forward with our Rise promo for Rise 3, then Lyman's promo, and then we'll go ahead and bring him in. So here we go. Enjoy. Follow Coach Howie. Rise workout.
You got to get it going.
Follow Coach Howie. Rise workout.
Figure it out now. I got 3 minutes to figure it out.
Rise workout.
Let's say that for the next one.
I'm working on these transitions. I'm getting better. Give me a second here. At least my mic is on when I came back on this time. Now let's go ahead and run Lyman's promo video, and then we'll go ahead and bring him in, and let's get right to it. Get your questions ready. Type them in the comments, questions that you have for Lyman, myself, anything about Rise, whatever it might be. Type those questions in. We'll be monitoring the comments throughout the broadcast. And here we go with Lyman's intro. Let's go. that was pretty live. I'll tell you the story behind that in a little bit, but hey, it came out nice. We worked that out. I see you laughing, Lyman. But anyhow, tell you a little bit about Lyman. He's a volume sports photographer out of Salt Lake City, Utah. He's not married. He's 42 years old. His girlfriend helps him out with his business quite a bit. He's got a horror story about a shoot that he had. I'll let him share that with you. This started out as a side gig, side hustle for him. And like many of us, that side gig, side hustle became the main gig, main hustle. So I'll leave that at that. And you guys can ask him what you want. Let's go ahead and bring him into the broadcast. Lyman, welcome to the broadcast. How you doing? Thank you so much for your time.
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
And I gave the basic intro, so you can go ahead and fill in any blanks I might have left out you'd like people to know about you, and go for it. You got the stage.
Sure. Like you said, name's Lyman Winn. I own Liquid Studios here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I've been full-time for about 12 years. Before that, I was the director of marketing for Comcast Cable. So kind of a difference in jobs in between for sure. But volume photography has been a big part of my business only for about the last 3 years. Before that, I dealt primarily in the bodybuilding industry, actually. So shooting like bodybuilders and that kind of thing was my main kind of gig, and a lot of commercial photography. So Utah is actually a pretty large sports market for the population we have here. So I deal mostly with high schools. Definitely do a lot of club teams as well, but high schools are kind of my thing here, and it's just exponentially grown over the last couple of years. It's been a fun journey.
Absolutely. That is lovely. And you are a fellow Canon shooter, and you are mirrorless. So you got the R6 and the R5. Which do you prefer and why?
I shoot about 90% on my R6 just for file size, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know, the R5 is a little overkill for that. So unless I'm doing something commercial where I know I'm going to blow it up, over 10 feet or something like that, I usually stick with the R6.
Okay.
But I used to be a Nikon guy though, until about 2 years ago. So it's fun. It's a big difference.
So what'd you do with all your Nikon glass?
I basically feel like I pawned it for as cheap as I sold it. So
I get it.
GLSR stuff is not going for what it was. It was kind of sad to see how much I got for it, but yeah, I cleared
that
it
is
out.
a fact. That is a fact. Yeah. I'm Canon all the way. I have so much glass. I don't think I'd ever switch to another platform, even if I thought it was better.
Yeah.
Better doesn't always equal more money. And that's the way I decide what's better. If it saves me time or makes me more money, then I'm looking at it. Absolutely. So tell the folks about your horror story about the batteries. I think they'd like that story.
So this happened about 1.5 years ago. I had booked a high school that was about 1.5 hours away. And when I got there, I busted everything out and realized, sorry, I'm gonna let my dog out here. She's gonna freak out. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so got there, went to set up, realized I left all of my Godox batteries at home. And I'm in this little tiny town, so nobody carries that kind of stuff in this little tiny town. And so I realized the only thing I could do was I opened up the gym doors. I set my green screen up like basically 5 feet, probably from the opening of the door. And we used natural sunlight with the green screen. It worked out pretty damn well. I'm not gonna lie. I was actually pretty impressed the way it turned out. But yeah, I was like freaking out because I've got like 200 kids ready to shoot and I have no lights. So that was fun. I don't think the end product they could tell. I was just freaking out internally the entire time.
Right. Well, that is truly innovative. I don't know if anyone would have thought to just go ahead and go natural light and on green screen for extractions.
Yeah.
I get the natural light, but you got to light it nicely not to get that spill. So that is something interesting. And you are, what's your go-to piece of equipment when you go on your volume shoots?
So probably the X-Drop, my little green screen, the X-Drop. I actually just ordered the wider one. They have the 8-foot one. It's out of stock right now, but I'm excited to actually see when that comes in. That's probably my go-to piece of equipment. I don't know why, but I love how compact it is and being able to fit in smaller places to shoot and stuff like that. That's pretty good. But my equipment list is actually very, very minimal these days as far as what I try to bring in. I load everything up in a wagon. That's kind of my go-to that carries everything. But yeah, I try to keep everything pretty minimal on the actual shoot itself.
Great. Are you a 100% green screen, or you do some natural as well?
No, we do some natural as well. So some environmental stuff with gyms, and we've done some stuff outside as well. I just find that for the majority of people, I like to talk them into the green screen. For me, It's just an easier process overall. I like how clean it turns out, the consistency of it. So for me, I'm all about consistency.
Right. That sounds like Kane for sure. Kane is a serious green screen shooter. He had to shoot outdoors the other day, and he put a big post about how he's taking Motrin. His back hurts, his neck hurts, his low angles, no tripod, all sorts of things. But he's definitely our green screen shooter. But for real, I do it when I have to, but I'm the opposite. I'm the natural shooter, and I'll shoot green screen or white or gray if I have to. So lovely. Where do you see your business going in the future? You're 42 years old now. Where do you want to take this thing?
I only want to be doing this for about 10 more years. I've, my entire life, I've kind of built up to hopefully retire at 50. That's the plan. So
Lovely.
we'll cross our fingers. I think that's one thing that a lot of photographers don't think about is a retirement. I know you and I talked about that previously a little bit, and making sure that financially you're in a place that you're saving and investing and all that kind of stuff. So, I hopefully about 10 more years, and I think I'll be hopefully done with things. We've grown exponentially in like the last 2 years in the volume photography side of things. And so, this year I finally brought somebody on for the first time. And the girlfriend helps out quite a bit with the business as well. So I'm going into next year, we're going to have to probably hire more staff, which is a little scary and kind of exciting at the same time. Right.
Right.
So some of the lower volume stuff, I'll send the one employee that I have out to do, and she'll do that kind of stuff. But for the most part, it's kind of me running the show right now.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And in fact, you talked about bringing on some more employees. That's one of the topics that we do in our Rise workshops. Is we don't just talk about shooting and posing and lighting, and we talk about those things, retirement, bringing on employees, how to do it the right way. What's an independent contractor? What is an employee? All those types of things that are very, very important and can get you into a lot of trouble if you don't do it the right way. But since you're just getting into it, I'll share some info with you about that when we get off and share that with you going in that direction, because we have employees as well.
Yeah.
So that is lovely. And let me check the comments here real quick, see what people are saying. We got a yo from someone who didn't give us their name. I'm going to guess that's Kane. And then we got here, shooting low profile on natural shoots with the 70 to 200. I'm not sure who that is because they didn't give us their name. It's Kane. I figured it. This is Kane. Kane, you know better. You got to set an example for everybody else. Put your name in there so we can see who you are. I never give StreamYard. There's Kane clowning again. And then we got Octavius out of Florida out there. He's chiming in. Octavius, I would expect that you didn't give StreamYard permission, so I'm surprised to see your name, and I appreciate it. So any comments or questions on here, go ahead and ask them away. I see 13, 14 of you in here. What city and state is everybody from that's watching live? And again, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and type in those comments and we'll answer those after the show as well. And you're in Salt Lake City, Utah. How far do you go from your home base out to shoot? How many miles or how far out do you go typically?
About right now, about 3 to 4 hours out is about the furthest I'll book it at the moment. So I have next Monday, I'm going out to a little town called Roosevelt. It's about 2.5 hours away. So one thing I talked to you a little bit is I've actually expanded a little more on some of these outskirt towns. I found that I'll actually make a lot more money on these teams. They're not used to having kind of a professional come out there. There are a lot of momtographers that are taking the photos and stuff like that. So it's been kind of fun to go out there and give them kind of this VIP type experience and letting the kids really get hyped up for the shoot and stuff like that. So I found a lot of success actually going kind of these outer lying areas. Utah in general is kind of everything's outlying. Yeah, our distance is probably a little further than most people's are. But yeah, so probably most people probably think that's a long ways to travel. In Utah, it's just not that far. So
how do you determine on a distance shoot if you're going more than an hour and a half away from your place? How do you determine ahead of time if it's a new team, if you think it's going to be profitable, or you just take the chance on them at least one time?
I've pretty much always taken a chance, unless at least the team has at least 20 people on it. I'll travel to them. If it has less than that, then there's a sitting fee. I don't actually charge a sitting fee otherwise for teams right now. So it's and I don't do any upfront sales. Everything is done online after the fact. So I guess I'm confident enough that what we're doing is creating something that people are going to want. And I don't want everyone to feel like I'm forcing somebody to buy something. And that's why I've always sold everything online after the fact.
Okay, great. Which platform are you using to sell your images?
So I use Statist. So I think we
Oh,
talked
you
a little bit
mentioned
about that. Yeah.
that.
So I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I know a couple guys in the groups online use it. It's been a pretty good little base for me. I've been using it for about a year. It's got really good
Okay.
tracking. It's made specifically for volume.
Right. Cool. That's another option for folks. I think the biggies are Photo Day and Got Photo. Those are two biggies, and then Candid probably would fall in behind them. So Statist would be number 4 for people who are looking for an online solution to sell their photos. Check them all out, see what works best for you, and go for it from there. Or maybe use a combination of them depending upon the shoot, how many kids, or how user friendly it is. So I've heard that comment quite a bit, especially in rural areas. They're having trouble converting to online sales because people don't have internet, or they don't speak the language, or they're just a cash area that they're bringing cash for the pictures. So we need to be able to take money in all forms. Let me check these comments again, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, we got Felicia here coming in out of New Jersey. You give a quick recap. No, I can't give a good recap. You can watch the replay though. There's someone in here coming out of Vegas, and then we got Norton, Ohio. John Rivera here. I see you, John. John's in Texas. John is doing his thing. He's a natural and a greens. He's got a trailer. He shoots his green screen out of a trailer, and that's where he does his thing. So, and gas is a little cheaper in Texas than it is in California. So I ran through the comment. Any more comments? Go ahead and type them in.
Whoever's in Vegas, that's not far from me.
Right. There you go. And actually, we're considering Vegas as an option of where to go in the future as well. Let me see here. Okay, we got Vegas. Who do I got in here? Make sure I got everybody. Yeah, I think I got everybody. All right. So we've got, I lost him for a second. All right, I'll bring him back on when he comes back. Again, Kendrick Brown with RISEworkshops. We have Harry's back. Let me bring
me out.
Yeah. I got you. No problem. I'm monitoring. I'm running this thing like the Starship Enterprise. So he's back just like that. He just phased out for a minute. So we talked about your future goals, your current shooting platform, how far out you go. How many kids would you say you shoot per year?
So after our discussion we had the other day, I wanted to go back and look and figure out approximately how many I did last year. So my approximate number is somewhere between 20 and 25,000 athletes last year total.
Okay. That is humping for sure. That is a lot of work. And your busiest season would be, what would you think?
Right now, for sure.
Football and cheer?
Yeah, for sure. Football, cheer, volleyball. I've shot a lot more volleyball teams. In Utah, they just really made boys volleyball sanctioned sport here. So suddenly there's a bunch of teams and stuff like that. So yeah, probably as many volleyball teams as I shot football teams this year.
Wow. It just got larger numbers with football, with the football combination. So it's about the same here in California. It is football and cheer, and then for us, and then it's baseball and softball season. Those are the two big. We could probably just do those two and take a nap on the rest.
Yeah.
But that is plenty of revenue coming there. Let me check the comments. Nothing else there. And then you're shooting schools as well as the sports. You have a couple of schools that you're shooting as well.
Yeah, so the majority of I shoot a lot of high schools. I've actually started contracting with high schools this last year. So I have 7 high schools that shoot all their sports for me primarily, except for one of them doesn't shoot their cheer because the cheer coach is hell-bent on her sister shooting it. But other than that, yeah. So that's one thing that I feel like a lot of people don't do is they don't do contracts with schools. My contract with schools is solely that I'm the sole photographer for their team sports.
Right.
I actually don't charge the schools to come and shoot. I found that I actually give a lot to the school for free for each sport. And some contracts I have that I actually give back a certain percentage back to the school per the sport, depending on what the parents spend.
Okay. That's good. That is good. I like to give back as well, pretty much everywhere we go, because there's a lot of kids out there that don't have the money to play these sports. And that was me back in the day too. Ended up in a D1 football scholarship from a coach paying $35 for me when I was 10 years old to play football. So
that's awesome, man.
I totally believe in that give back. So is there anything else that you want to share about yourself that we didn't ask you specifically while I'm looking for these questions?
So I think for me, something that would have helped me in the beginning when I was kind of starting into the volume sports thing is figuring out how to market myself and how to get out there and how to do all that kind of stuff. And so I can share with you kind of my formula that I found successful. I
Sure.
find that everybody kind of finds a little different formula, but for me, this has worked really well. And that is, I approach a lot of athletic directors directly and a lot of coaches directly.
Right.
So when I go in to see an athletic director, I've created like a one sheet, two-sided thing that basically
Right.
gives them a lot of information. It kind of explains to them like how green screen works, some simple questions about most athletic directors and coaches, I think, kind of dread photo day.
Right.
It seems like, I found that a lot of them just not super excited about it. But explaining to them that, it's really hands off for them. I have a simple online Google document that I have teams upload all their information before the shoot. That way I can have everything meta tagged before I actually get home with all that kind of information. This gives the school certain pricing on certain high volume items like banners and yard signs and schedules and things like that. So the
Right.
school knows. They can also forward that on to the booster clubs. And then getting the teams on board to basically help me market to the parents. So meeting with the coach, hopefully before the shoot actually happens, to kind of see what they had in mind, some ideas we might put together, if there's any theme for the actual team itself going into the season, and trying to figure out a little bit about the personality of the team and kind of bonding with the team. So I think kind of embedding yourself within the team is a really big deal. I have one high school here that their football team, I've done this giant 65-foot banner for them for like the last 5 years, I believe now.
65
And
years.
yeah, man, I think I sent you a video of it. It's actually up in the team volume thing there, but I just barely delivered it yesterday to them. So it's a pretty cool thing. It's like 65 feet long, it's 7 feet tall, and it's got the entire varsity lineup all the way across it. So,
Wow.
but this team is like, I feel like I really know this team because I've grown up with all these boys over the last couple of years, and seeing them
Gotcha.
kind of develop and stuff like that is kind of very rewarding for me. I'm also a former college athlete myself, so I kind of understand, the whole sports side of things and the competitiveness to it.
Great. Awesome. That's great information. And then your social media marketing, are you big on the social media or no?
So Instagram, I do pretty well. That's more word of mouth. I do a lot more than just volume photography as well. I shoot a lot of family stuff in the evenings and things like that too. So that's primarily that. I've got a decent following on Instagram. I think I've got like 15,000 followers. I should be a TikTok guy. I really should be a TikTok guy. I keep telling myself I'm going to be a TikTok guy, and then I don't do anything with TikTok. So I need that's like my thing that I feel like I need to repent of and get going on is the TikTok side of things. Here in Utah, the great thing is that word of mouth, people like to talk a lot, and I get a lot of word of mouth business. And one thing that I always do is at the end of the season, I come to the coach, I ask them, did we get everything you needed this year? Is there anything you wish we would have done differently? And I try to get a little bit of feedback from them. And then I also tell them, hey, the best compliment you can give me is if you know any other coaches in any other schools or anybody else in this school that can benefit from my services, I would love that referral. And I've been shocked at how many times that's actually helped me. The other thing that I do is I ask schools if they're okay with me putting a QR code on some of their banners that are hanging in the schools. So I'll put a little QR code, and above it, I'll just write, who took this cool banner, or who made this cool banner? And I found business from that. So other schools will go in there, do a tournament or something like that, and they'll go up and they'll scan the little QR code on their banner. And I've gotten business from that too as well. So just a few tricks. On my yard signs this year, I just barely ordered for the football team. I put a QR code on the back of it for them to order their pictures. So it's just kind of another thing for the parents to once again see and hopefully scan.
Lovely, lovely. I call that the parlay. You take one thing you already have and you get something else out of it. And that QR code on whatever it is that you're putting out, whether they paid for it or you gave it to them, is generating business while you're asleep. So I like that.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Let me check these comments here. Tyrone is in here. I see you, Tyrone, coming out of Sacramento. Tyrone, we will see you in Columbus already. I know you just picked up your ticket, so looking forward to seeing you. We got South Carolina in. We got Woodstock, Illinois. Who else we got in here? Norton, Ohio.
You guys are really, really talkative, though. You guys should ask some questions.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. They're making me work.
Do you guys have questions about like pricing or like package structures or how I sell things or anything like that?
Yeah, type them in. We are monitoring your questions. And then for the banners for the school, what size banners do you typically do for your individual senior banners? What size do you typically do?
So I have a couple different sizes. It depends on the price mark that they're looking at, like a 16 by 24, a 32 by 48. And then my most popular lately has been a 36 by 72. So like a full length
Right.
body banners. And those have sold really, really well this year.
Okay. For that size or any of the other sizes, do you typically go with a 13 ounce or 15?
13. I've never found a need to do 15 ounce, to be honest with you. The only one I do, well, I lie. So there's two banners I spend a lot of money on. That gigantic football one, we do a 15 ounce.
You want it to
because
last.
it is so long. Yeah, I mean, you gotta, otherwise it's gonna be a gigantic sale out there.
Right.
And then the other one, I have a community college here that I shoot the softball team every year, and we do an 85-foot outfield banner for them, and we have to do that one mesh.
Right.
So we do a mesh banner. Yeah, because the wind's crazy out
It'll
there.
knock those cyclone fences down.
Yeah, literally the very first year we did it, we put it up, and an hour and a half later it tore in half. So we had to end up going. Yeah, the winds in that particular location are crazy.
Yeah,
so
I've never ordered a mesh banner. I would think the vinyl with the cuts in it so the wind goes through, but I hadn't thought about the mesh banner as an option for the bigger ones.
So I like the mesh if you have a really large banner that people are viewing from a distance out. So for a backfield wall, like a softball field, it's great. If I was putting it up like on a chain link fence, people are close, I wouldn't like it.
Gotcha. Yeah. That distance. They're not all up on it, looking at it. Let's see. Let me check these comments.
I'll tell everybody else the other thing that's been a big seller for me this season and last season was the fathead cardboard cutouts.
Right.
I saw a lot of these things. And I priced them at $25, and I've never heard anybody complain about the price. And we've had a lot of people use them as senior gifts, or, I sold a school 45 of them it was a really small school, but all for the entire senior class and that kind of stuff.
Cool. We got a question coming in from Jermaine out of Augusta, Georgia. For Sports TNI, are you currently primarily shooting green screen or natural? Also, how do you price your photo packages? That was a unique question.
Yeah, good question. So I shoot primarily green screen. I will also do some natural stuff. I've started adding on, if we have time at the end of the shoot, just doing some fun, unique images that I just sell as digital images to the parents. It's kind of an add-on type thing. So like some of the volleyball teams will throw a gel up in the background and just do some fun images and kind of goofing around. So that's been pretty fun as far as that goes. Also, as far as how I price my photo packages, my prices will change slightly depending upon the school. Utah has a really weird dynamic, and I'm sure everybody else has a similar dynamic, to be honest with you. But we have very, very rich schools, and we have some really, really poor schools. So typically I like to sit down with the athletic director beforehand and try to find out and gauge where they think it is. They have a pretty good idea usually. And so my packages usually start out at $25 or $35 for my lowest package. That's going to include a 8x10. So a single pose, 8x10, 5x7, 4 wallets, and a team. I do a poster print from Science 365, which is an 8.5 by 11. You can get 5 of them for $2. So for team images, it's great. It saves you a ton of money on the print. It's a nice quality print. I really like. The majority of the stuff that I order is through Science 365. I do a lot of posters, a lot of banners, and a lot of fatheads. So I saw somebody ask in the other comments about who I use for my fathead orders, but it's Science 365 for majority of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, 2 people asked that question, and then just joined in. When you contract with the high schools, do you typically find that the high school contracts with one photographer across all sports? I'm not sure. Middle school or high school?
I don't do a lot of middle school here in Utah. There's a lot of middle schools that run athletic programs, but in a high school, it's kind of a foreign concept to most of them, to be honest with you. They've never really done it with their sports teams. They've done it obviously like with school pictures, and so that's kind of the way that I approach it. Is it's very similar to them contracting with them, and I haven't had anybody push back on signing a contract other than, like I say, there's one cheerleading squad at one of the schools that was very particular and just couldn't get them on board. So that's fine.
Okay. Got you on that. And I don't see any new questions there. And then you said your job before photography was working with Comcast. What got you from Comcast to the photography?
Well, with Comcast, I was the director of marketing for the Western region, and great paying job, fantastic job. I was in my late 20s, and great job for my age. but I hated my job, man. I was on the road Monday through Friday, didn't have much of a social life. And I thought I just couldn't picture myself doing that for the next 20 to 30 years. I couldn't
Right.
picture myself sitting in an office. I think one of the things we all usually enjoy about being a photographer, I'm very much an extrovert, and I like to hear myself talk. So,
Right.
I like kind of being the center of attention, I guess you could say, a lot of times. So for me, it doing these whole things has been like almost like a theatrical like situation sometimes. I feel
Right.
like you have to put on this show and everything like that, which I actually really, really, really enjoy. So
Yeah. Same. I'm with you on that. How much time do you plan on for each athlete for team and individual?
super, super fast. I run people through like a herd of cattle. So I was gonna offer people, if they're interested in the Rise group tomorrow. I'm actually shooting a football league tomorrow, a little league,
Right.
and I was interested if people would be interested in watching that live.
Go
If I
for it.
if I went live in the group, if people would like to see how I do this. So, for example, this group, they're going to do 4 poses, but they're
Hmm.
going to get 8 pictures to choose from because we do a serious and a smiling for every single pose.
Right.
Um, but what we do is I usually print like a poster up
Hmm.
that'll have 3
Some
mandatory
ideas.
poses,
Yeah.
and they're really, really specific as far as what the poses are. And then I'll have like a couple poses at the bottom, and they get to choose one of those, or they get to choose their own.
Right.
And if they don't, if they get up there and they say, "Oh, I don't know what I do," we just choose one for them, and we
Got
go
you.
really, really quick. But to be able to go that quick, I have to have a ton of energy in these things because it's all about entertaining these, especially when it comes to little league. Just
Right.
really entertaining everybody in line. So I have a very like kind of formulated thing. Is each team shows up, we'll throw them in there. I bring everybody to the front. I stand in front of them. I show them the posing and show them exactly what they're going to do. They have a couple of posters throughout that they can look at on the way up here.
Right.
So when they step up there, they should know exactly what they do. We put a coach up there next to them to help a little bit. Sometimes coaches are helpful.
Sometimes
Sometimes
they're
they're
not.
worthless. So yeah.
Right. And then I didn't hear you say, do you have a poser other than the coach, your own person?
I'm the poser, man.
From the camera
I
spot, you're
oh
posing.
yeah, man. I mirror people, and I tell them to do exactly what I do. So
Wow.
I've gone from I used to handheld everything up until really
Right.
this year, to be honest with you. And I've switched now to solely just tripoding stuff. A lot of time I'll actually use a remote now too, which is really
Right.
nice. The nice thing about shooting Canon mirrorless is it's got
It's
great
gonna
eye
catch that
detection.
eye. Yep.
Yeah, so 90% of the time I'm gonna nail it every single time. So usually it's a lot of me stand behind my camera and really get everybody involved in it.
Right.
I yell a ton in shoots, so kids are usually embarrassed to like yell and stuff. So I'll be like, "Hey, I'm going to yell with you," and I'll get the entire team yelling. So I think
Right.
getting buy-in from that really, really helps to try to get some, active people in there.
Get the looks that you want. Cool. Here's a question from John Rivera out of Texas. That visual you showed earlier, that you show the ADs and coaches, can you pop that up again?
Sure. All right. So I don't know how well you guys can kind of see this.
You
I
get
can
the
kind of
general
tell you guys
idea.
what's on, or if you want, yeah, see if you can see that side, John. So this is kind of like my
Yeah.
one sheeter, this school banner
Right.
program. And then here's got some basic pricing for them and stuff like that. So
Nice and clean.
really what I do, yeah, it's clean, it's simple, it's really brief. I tell them that there's a lot more products that are involved in this than I can offer, but this is kind of a brief overview of what they're looking at. So a couple of things here, I essentially each section starts with like a question or some type of big thing. It's like tired of boring traditional team shoots, and I explain why it sucks for coaches and athletic directors and everything like that, and how we streamline the process. And they're not going to have to do really anything other than provide our roster and contact information. We also guarantee that from shoot to proofing is 1 week. So that's
There
one
you
thing
go.
that my really only competition here as far as big box is All Star. And
Right.
that's our number one complaint is how long it takes them. Most people will shoot at the beginning of the season and they won't get anything back until the season's basically over. And so
Wow.
I think being able to provide stuff immediately and meeting with people before you actually shoot for the teams. So the school or the booster club or anybody is buying stuff, making sure you know what you're going to do going into the shoot will help you a ton.
Right. There's this probably Kane clowning again. Damn, my mom put my Comcast bill in my name when I was younger. Can you get that fee out of my name? Kane.
Do you know how many times I used to get that call from people? Believe me, I know. It's a horrible company, to be honest with you.
Here's Tyrone again out of California. I'm currently a one-person show pony. What are some tips to maximize my time and effort?
If I had to do it all over again, I would invest in a couple of things. I would invest in PickSnub software immediately. I thought that I could do it by myself, creating my own actions and everything like that. And finally last year, I actually paid for the, it's like $180 a year. It's crazy how cheap
Yep.
it is, really, for everything that it does. And it seriously changed my speed of everything, man. So PickSnub software, learning how to use MetaTag data software to tag everybody. That's one of my big things, that as soon as I drop everybody into Lightroom, I meta tag every single person with name, jersey number, class, everything. It's a document that I've set up beforehand. So I have all the information from the rosters will give me all the information. So the moment I drop them in there, I'm able to meta tag them super quick, and it helps my organization a ton. Also, it helps me so when a team contacts me and says, hey, we need an 8-foot banner with just the seniors or just the juniors, or I've got that already, and I can just pull up, okay, I need all the seniors, and it'll pull up all those images for me that are just seniors, just juniors, all that kind of stuff. It's really cool.
There you go. That is very helpful with that post-shoot workflow for sure. We got Brian jumped on here. Hey, you doing, Brian? Brian says PickSnub for life. And Damon is a big supporter of Rise. He came to our Florida Rise 2 and did an hour presentation and released some things that hadn't even been released yet. So we appreciate Damon, all of us do. He saved a lot of marriages with that green screen software. Let's see, Jennifer. Jennifer Lyman, what tagging software do you use?
My tagging software is just Lightroom. I just create text documents that drop in. If you're familiar with how that works in a text file, then you can actually put it, basically all the information attached to anybody that you need to do. So I just have essentially like a form that I just drop my information in, and it automatically loads it into there for me.
Right. Okay. And don't use that herd of cattle. That's giving us green screen people a bad rep.
Brother, I'm from Utah, man. I grew up on a farm. That's what we do here. We run cattle here.
I heard that. Okay, folks, we are coming up on 40 minutes. Type in your questions. I'm going to be wrapping it up. So if you have something you've been chafing at the bit to ask, go ahead and ask it. We got 15 of you on here. One more time, let's run through with your city and state. I want to know where everybody is. City and state one more time for everybody, even if you put it in already. And if you didn't give StreamYard permission because you're hiding and you have warrants, go ahead and give it permission, because I'm going to find you anyway.
Going back to one question I think somebody asked, as far as like the speed that I shoot, I can usually, I average about 40 to 50 athletes an hour. If somebody wants to know like an average of how fast I shoot. So that's usually doing 4 different poses, 8 different images.
Okay, that sounds good. And we'll definitely take you up on your live shoot tomorrow. I will go ahead and give you permission, so you won't need any. All you can do is log in and boom, you can go right in. You don't need any permission from us. So
cool.
Go for it. I think folks will enjoy that. And
we'll be starting 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Go for that. And looking for any final questions, and then I'll go ahead and wrap this up. We got Brian in here. We got, everybody's got a name. I'm going to mention you. Jerry Hughes out of Vegas. I see you. We got Norton, Akron, Ohio. Valley Springs. That's my wife. She knows better. Where's your face? I want to see your face. Rochester, New York. Zanesville, Ohio. Okay. Got another Ohio in there. Don't mind me. Who's this Kane again? Don't mind me. I'm just drinking my coffee before bed, but been a fan of your work. Let's see. MetaTag. MetaTag. He advanced. I heard of Metaverse. Good tips. What's the difference between Metaverse and MetaTag? I don't know. Anybody?
Metaverse is virtual reality, buddy. That's Facebook and the Metaverse.
Okay. Jennifer, we got your question there. Brian, thanks for jumping in. Octavius, Tyrone, John Rivera out of Texas. We got folks all over the place jumping in. Appreciate that. And I think that is about it. So I'm going to go ahead and run a couple more videos through here. I'm going to run yours again, Lyman, so you can see what I put together for you.
Can I show you guys something really quick?
Go for it. Absolutely.
Because I want to tell you guys, after talking to Cap, I self-fulfill right now, and I want to show you guys what I just had show up, that I'm just dying because I have to go through and separate these orders. So hold on, let me show you guys something.
Go for it.
Just kidding. I can't show you right now. It's in another room and there's a kid asleep, so I can't show it to you. Sorry, guys. But I have about 75 pounds of prints. They just came from 365 that I have to divide up and all that kind of stuff. Freaking nuts.
Yeah,
So,
that post-shoot work. I've been there, done it.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think I'm done after this after these football leagues. I think I'm just done, man. I have so many packages to put together. So, yeah.
There's a lot of pluses and minuses to both. Now, I'll tell my story and you can chime in because you're going through it right now. When we were doing paper order forms, which was before COVID, the best thing about it was coming home after a shoot and having a whole bunch of cash and checks. And we would come home and just throw that money in the air. Like, what's that movie with the comedian, the black comedian? They just throw all the money up in the air and they're jumping on the bed and everything. That's how it was when we come home from a T&I shoot when we did paper order forms. But the down, that was the high. The down was going through all those, entering all that information in for the memory mates, height, weight, size, all this kind of stuff, making sure it's all correct. Then, like you say, we get a whole box of stuff back from Miller's and got to go through all of this. We want to make sure that everything that's in each package is what the parent ordered. So when we give it to the league, we know for a fact everything was in that package. So if a parent calls so they don't have a button, they don't have an 8x10, whatever the case is, we know for a fact that's not true information because we checked it before we gave it to the coaches. But we still have to give them that product because that's one customer that's going to be out there shouting your name. Hey, they gypped me out of a button or a magnet or whatever the case might be. We'll just deliver directly to that parent in the future. Now, with online ordering, we don't have any of that. We don't need any names. We don't need any information, nothing. We just go out there and shoot. What level are you? That's all we need to know. And we're going to put them in order by tagging by level. And then the parents just go in there with level, or they can just take a picture of their kid and FaceFind will find every picture of their kid, every buddy, every team picture, every individual picture. It'll find them and then they can order from there. So after we load them up, we're done. We're going to Tahoe, Reno, the Indian casino, going and kicking it and waiting for the cha-chings to come in. So for us, it worked out very well and we like the system. But there are plenty of them out there. We mentioned 4 of them earlier. So everybody that's using paper order forms that wants to look for a better solution, we mentioned 4 during this broadcast for you to take a look at and see what works out best for you. So you have anything else to add, Lyman? And I'll put you in the back room. You good?
I think we're good, man. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. And if you guys have any questions other than this, feel free to put it in the comment section below after if it's a replay, and we'll try to answer them as well.
Absolutely. So Lyman, kick back for a minute. I'm going to put you in the back room for a minute and I'll be right with you. So here we go. All right. Thank you again for Lyman Winn out of Salt Lake City, Utah, for donating his time. He gave us a lot of great nuggets. You're not going to find this type of content in any other group doing lives with people that are doing big things in the industry. And we try to do at least 2 per month, even during the busy season. So we are dedicated to helping you improve your photography business and your income. So RISEworkshops, support us like we support you. Rise 3 coming up in Columbus, Ohio, December 2nd through the 4th. The early bird rate expires tomorrow evening at 12 midnight, actually 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So get that 649 rate, go to riseworkshops.com and go ahead and get your ticket. Tickets are available after that, but you might as well save some coin. We look forward to seeing you there. So let's run Lyman's video again. And then we'll go ahead and run ours, and then we'll be out of here. Thanks again for watching, everybody. And if you are watching the replay, type in those comments, and we'll be happy to answer those. Let me find them here while I'm stalling. And here we go with Lyman's video.
Officially introducing what's called
Rise.
Rooms.
And we got one more for you, and we're out of here. Here we go. Follow Coach Howie. Rise workout.
You got to get it going.
Follow Coach Howie. Rise workout.
Figure it out now. I got 3 minutes to figure it out.
Rise workout.
Let's say that for the next one.